I am Cheryl Wood, author of The Power to Sizzle, Transformational Power Thoughts for Creating the Life You Want, and I'm on Jerry Royce Live.
Hello, and thank you for stopping by. I'm your host, Jerry Royce, and welcome to Positive Power 21 Network, where you get your positive on. This is a worldwide podcast for growth, wealth, and success. Thank you.
Positive Power 21.org, Internet Radio.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us, and welcome to Jerry Royce Live on Positive Power 21.org. I am the voice of Jerry Royce, and when it's all positive, it's all power. That's Positive Power 21. And today's sponsors are Queens Production. Is producing a play in Baltimore, Maryland on Saturday, July 19th called Taking It Back, written by Zenobia Sampson. General admission is only $15, and you can purchase your tickets on Facebook.com, Zenobia Sampson, and she has a PayPal link, or you can contact and find out how you can get your tickets at the door. Also, we want to thank Pamela Samuel Young, the author of Anybody's Daughter, and the author of Kinky Corley, Natural Hair Resource Guide. All right, so if your hair is a disaster and you're trying to take it to heaven, check out her website at PamelaSamuelsYoung.com and get yourself a copy. She put a lot of research into that book. All right, and also we want to say thank you to author and publisher of Purple Diamond Publishing Company, Katira Young. She has a book titled Shalisa, The Contract Killers. And thank you to author Nakia Robinson, book titled Love Will Never Do. And we want to say thank you to Bunny DeBarge. She's releasing 2 books this fall called The Kept Ones, Volume 1 and 2. This is a definitive story of the DeBarge family captured in 2 volumes, from their spectacular rise to the top of R&B music royalty, their fall from grace, to their re-emerging careers. All right. And also we have PurpleRoseHolisticHealth.com. They will personalize a program that will radically improve your health and happiness. Contact Valerie Moore for a free initial consultation. All right. And also we got Chronicles of David Hanger, available on Amazon. So look, check out Facebook page of Firemouth or Fire and Ice Fan Club. All right. So thank you, everybody, for our past guests. We want to thank Mr. John Gibson for sharing his story in a book called Winners. It's about a black high school team in Indiana that went undefeated and had 1 loss the year before that. And his story on how he shared the court with the famous legendary basketball player Oscar Robertson. So check out his story. He also has a documentary out there on YouTube called Something to Cheer About. All right, and we'll have his email up for you and everything soon, so you'll be able to contact him to get yourself a paperback version of his book. And we want to thank him for coming out and sharing that history with us. All right, tonight on the show, we have Cheryl Wood. All right, pull the bio up. All right, Cheryl is a very exciting woman. She's enthusiastic, engaging, and innovative. Cheryl Wood is a compelling thought leader and motivational speaker who possesses a deep-rooted passion for supporting the personal development and economic empowerment of women globally. Cheryl has impacted the lives of thousands of women through her life-changing principle of fearless living. She's an award-winning entrepreneur, speaker, author, and business coach who specializes in equipping women to stretch their thinking, expand their expectations, and play bigger. Her message of empowerment has been spotlighted on Fox News, News Channel 8, Radio 1, WPGC, WHUR, My Spirit DC, and Afro-American newspaper, and more. All right, so Cheryl's here to empower us today, guys, not just the women. Welcome to the show, Cheryl Wood. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. I'm energized. I'm enthusiastic. Thank you for having me. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks for joining us. We're so happy to have you. And I think now, where do my people find you? Did we find you on Facebook or Twitter?
I think you guys found me on Twitter.
All right. We get some good ones off of Twitter. All right, to the team, Team 21. All right. Now, I know I didn't get a chance to read your full-page bio. Ooh. Man, you've done a lot of things. Now, tell us a little bit about yourself. You know, we got the time to talk, so tell us a little bit about yourself that's not written, well, what wasn't written in what I read.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think the most important thing for your listeners to know is that, you know, all of us, I think, have a dream of something bigger that we can accomplish in our lives. But I think oftentimes as humans, we play small in life because we look at all the things that we're lacking instead of the things that we already possess. And I was no different. So if you go back 5 years ago in my journey, I was not a speaker. I was not an author. I was not a trainer. I was not a mom of a 9-year-old author. Yes, my daughter at 9 years old published her first book. There were so many things I hadn't accomplished because I was keeping myself I call it holding myself hostage to the reality that I was living at that time, which was running the corporate rat race, you know, dropping my kids off at 6 o'clock in the morning at before care and picking them up at 6 o'clock at after care, going to a job all day that, yes, I was good at, I was talented at, but it didn't nurture my spirit. It didn't make me feel fulfilled, and it certainly didn't make me feel like I was creating any type of a legacy. And so I was really just existing in life. I wasn't really living. And I think so often too many of us go through just the routine of life where we're just existing. And, you know, it's not good enough. And I finally got to the place where I was tired of being tired. And you know what they say about a woman, you know, when she's fed up, there's nothing you can do about it. So I was fed up, tired of punching, you know, a time clock and building somebody else's dream and just keeping my dream on a back burner. So I decided to take some baby steps to somehow create a different reality for myself. And that's what you've got to do sometimes. Just take the leap. You don't know the answers. I certainly didn't know all the answers. And I took a leap. I decided to start a small business. It was a small T-shirt business that celebrated motherhood and womanhood. And I did that while I was still working a full-time job. So, you know, I wanted to change real bad if I was putting in that type of time in addition to being a mom of 3 and a wife. So I had a lot going on. But I was so hungry. I was so hungry for life transformation. I wanted to add my mark to the world. I wanted people to know who I was. I wanted to make an impact. I wanted to change lives. You know, a legacy is about helping other people transform their lives, using your gifts and your talents to impact other people so that you create this name for yourself that long outlives your physical body. And I wanted a piece of that. So I was willing to put in the work. Fast forward, I put in the work about 2 years into the journey of literally going out on the weekends and, you know, having a table at various events and selling T-shirts. I got a phone call unexpectedly from somebody at Morgan State University. And they said, hey, Miss Wood, we heard about you. We heard that you're this mom entrepreneur who's out here, you know, on the grind. You're trying to change your life, and you're selling T-shirts while you're working a full-time job. Would you come to our annual women's conference? We get about 200 to 300 women. And would you teach other moms how to start their own business? And I was like, are you sure you got the right person? I said, let me spell my name for you, because clearly you got the wrong person.
No, they had the right person. They had the right person.
They had the right, oh, my goodness. And that was the beginning of me really walking in my greatness and in my God-given gifts as a speaker who had the ability to get people energized about their possibilities, to get people enthused about what they could accomplish in life if they just took the first step. And so all of that detoured me into speaking and writing 3 books. And, you know, now having a baby girl who is an author and just being able to impact people's lives for the good. So that's kind of the short of my story over the past 5 years.
All right. So all this happened in the last 5 years?
In the past 5 years. I started in June of 2009. I just celebrated 5 years. Last week, I literally just celebrated 5 years in the grind, the entrepreneurial grind.
Wow, and that was fascinating story because 2009 is pretty much when the economy was tanking like crazy, you know.
Yes, and that's the thing. It doesn't matter when you decide to jump, right? You're always going to be scared. I mean, my palms were sweating, my heart was racing. I was like, why am I out here selling T-shirts? I didn't even know why. I didn't know why I was doing what I was doing. I just knew that if you always do the same thing, you will always get the same thing. So I knew I had to do something different in my life if I really wanted to get different results. So I didn't know how it was going to manifest. I didn't know how long it was going to take. I didn't know who I was going to meet that was going to help open doors for me. I just didn't know any of that. But all I knew is that every time I was out in 100-degree weather trying to sell some T-shirts, I just kept telling myself, there's something more for you. You've got to be patient so that you can figure out what it is. And patience paid off.
That's right. That's right. Wow. 5 years. Woo. And I love your website, the colors. You got the bling going on. Your hair is perfect, makeup, showing you down there, you're talking to an audience. Got that vibrant smile going on. Serious thought process happening. Fearless living. That's your principle of life-changing principles, being fearless. Now, you showed a lot of guts, a lot of courage coming out there. But that was a good that you started out with the baby stuff. Some people just want to drop everything and just, like, oh, how am I going to pay my bills? I haven't made $1 yet,
Yes.
Now, what was so special about the T-shirts that I know you had to really spend some time with the marketing of the T-shirts, just the whole concept. So how did you develop that, first of all? That's the first thing.
Well, you know what? The funny thing about it, I had never done T-shirts before. I didn't know what the heck I was doing, Jerry. I mean, I was clueless. That's the honest truth. I was clueless. The only thing I knew about doing with the T-shirt business was that I wanted to connect it with something that I was very passionate about. I think passion will take you a long way. Yes, you need a business model, you need a business plan, but even without all that stuff, if you don't have passion, you're not going very far. People have to see that you're enthused about what you're doing, and they will be willing to help open doors for you. So it was my passion for celebrating all that moms do on a daily basis, even though we only get 1 day a year to really celebrate. I knew what I did every day. Up at 4:30 in the morning, ironing clothes, getting the kids out the house, packing lunches. Then I got to pick them up in the evening. I'm tag teaming with my husband. All right, you going to do dinner or you going to do homework? Which one you going to do? I'm doing right? Like, I knew what my life was like as a mom, and I wanted to celebrate that, visually through something as simple as a T-shirt. And it was that passion that really aligned me, I believe, on the journey that I was supposed to be on. And so what would happen was women would come to the table to buy a T-shirt, to look at the T-shirt. Some of the T-shirt slogans were funny. Some of them were more serious. But it always was a conversation starter. And so what it did was it positioned me to realize that I had a knack for speaking, and I had a knack for making other people walk away feeling empowered and amazing about everything that they had inside. And so, yes, granted, a lot of work did go into organizing the T-shirts. I mean, I had to hire somebody to do the designs and choose the font and choose what color T-shirts I wanted. And I had to research, where can I get wholesale T-shirts so I don't spend, a fortune trying to get this thing up and running, even though I did still spend a small fortune. I had to get a website, a professional website done. And I had to have a photographer to photograph the T-shirts and set up an e-commerce site so people could purchase. I mean, it was a lot of work and time and energy and effort. But again, I was hungry. I was hungry for something different. So when you're hungry, what you going to do? You're going to get out there and make sure you eat. So I was hungry for something different.
That's right.
Yes, let's eat.
Let's eat. That's right. Now, Cheryl, that's interesting. Now, you went to T-shirt record. I heard that is one of the toughest business to get into. It's very competitive, and like you said, you're trying to find the best cost to make a decent product, and then you use e-commerce to market. So now you're talking about shipping the T-shirts probably from your location. Now, was out of all the business plans you looked at, was that the best model for you to go with first?
No. I mean, look, when I give it to you, I'm going to give it to you real. No, I did not do it the best way. I didn't do it the smartest way. I was uninformed. I was really clueless. And I learned a lot. But that's the thing. I think that oftentimes we can fail our way to success. Now, if you're able to connect with someone who can give you tips and give you wisdom and help you with nuggets of, look, don't do it this way, do it that way, I think that's powerful. And I think that's why as business owners, we need coaches in our lives who can say,
right.
Don't take the long route. Look, I can show you an easier way. But that, of course, also is an investment. But it's an investment in ourselves. And initially when I started, I didn't have the funds to make that investment that I needed to in hiring a coach. So I did everything just wet behind the ear, clueless. And so I did a lot of things the long way. But you know what? It taught me stamina. It taught me persistence. It taught me perseverance. It taught me conviction about getting what I wanted, even when sometimes I did it the long route. So really, technically, I should have had some type of system with a company where they would produce the shirts on an as-needed basis and ship them directly to the people. But I did it wrong. I did it the opposite way. I had hundreds of shirts in my basement from every size, from an extra small to a 4XL, and I'm talking in 12 different slogans. So you can imagine what my basement looked like. It was crazy. It was and then I would have to drag all of that stuff to these events, and so I put in a lot of hard work. But
you did.
I don't despise where I started. I don't despise the failures. I learn from the failures, and that's the difference. Some people, they fail, they fall flat on their face, and they're like, oh, I give up. I knew this wasn't going to work. No, I was like, okay, I'm going to find a way to make it work, and that's what I did.
Good job. Now, do you talk about this process that you went through with young ladies who's thinking about going in business, and they start shooting off ideas, and you're like, I tried that, I did that, I done that. What's coming at you when you're out speaking to some of these young people about business?
Yeah, I do get invited to speak to youth groups and youth organizations and women's organizations. That's really the crux of what I do is, young girls and women. In fact, just last year in August of 2013, I hosted a massive empowerment event for girls and women. I rented the Showplace Arena. Okay, let me let that sink in. I rented the Showplace Arena, which is a massive stadium in Prince George's County, so that I could have a platform to share with girls and women some of the failures that I've had, some of the mistakes, because I believe when you're transparent about those things, people are able to connect with you on a deeper level. If I get on the stage and I talk about all the success that I've had, I've done this and I've done that and I got this and I got – how do you connect with that if you're in a space where you're struggling right now, if you're in a space where you're trying to figure out the answers? So I did that, and we actually had over 2,000 people who came out into the stadium, and that was one of the biggest platforms I've been able to use to share with young girls. Look, I can show you an easier way. Take it while it's free, because it's not always free, Jerry.
Oh, that was free? That was free?
That was completely free. I did that out of my pocket. That was completely free, because I believe that as you're rising in your journey, you've also got to turn around and give back. And so that was just one of the examples of how I give back to our community, because a lot of our young girls are very misled and misguided now, and any small part that I can do to help point them in a different direction and say you have options other than dancing on a pole or dancing in a video, I want to show them that. And hey, I have a daughter. She's 10, and I want to show her the options that she has in life, to use her brain, to use her intellect and her creativity to really move forward in her life and dream big and do big things.
That's right. Now you mentioned you were married. You're married. Your husband was very supportive of this idea to go into entrepreneurship in the beginning?
My husband thought I had lost my mind when I told him, when I said, babe, I want to leave my full-time job, my six-figure full-time job, and I want to go sell T-shirts. And then when I told him I wanted to go speak, he was like, oh, really? Oh, that's what you want to do. You want to go talk. People going to pay you to talk.
That's what it was coming down to, right?
Yes, he thought I had lost my mind.
Oh,
and
he knew
it was a struggle initially, to be quite honest, because oftentimes when you're pursuing a dream, you figure you're scared yourself. So the person that you're with, your mate, your partner, if you can barely see the vision, it's going to be even harder for them to see the vision. So he's like, I
Right.
don't know what this is about, right? And he didn't marry me as an entrepreneur. He married me as, you know, a young lady who had a full-time job with, you know, a paycheck, direct deposit, and benefits.
Yeah.
And here
That's
I
right.
go saying I want to pursue entrepreneurship, which doesn't have any guarantees. You know, you work harder than you ever work in corporate America, and you don't know what you're going to get. You don't go to your bank account every 2 weeks and know that money is going to be there deposited. You got to work
That's right.
on every dime that you get. So
But you know, Cheryl,
needless to say, the first couple of years it was rough, but now he is on board. He's one of my biggest supporters, and I love him for it.
That's right. That's right. And you know, Cheryl, it's funny you mentioned about you know, working for an employer now. I mean, it's getting pretty tough out there working. I mean, people are retiring and they're not replacing people. So you have one person doing 3 people jobs. You bring your and telework is nothing but just more you bringing the work home and not getting paid for it. So it's like it's getting tough to work for somebody and see that same check that you were making, you know, a few years ago when you were just doing one person's job. So I don't know. I think people are leaning towards looking at entrepreneurship now, listening to people like you stand up on a platform, doing what you're doing. I think you're encouraging people to look at that a little bit closer. Just like some of these girls out here now selling these books, they're writing what they know about, and they're hustling hard. So what you have to say about that?
You know what? I think that a lot of people are looking at it more and they're considering it more. But let me say this.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times, you know, when you're looking at somebody else's journey, it looks sexy. So when I looked at other entrepreneurs, you know, it looks sexy to me not to have to go to punch a time clock every day. It looks sexy that, she's a speaker who gets to stand on the stage in front of all these audiences and they're giving her a standing ovation and she gets to travel all over the world. All that looks sexy until I start doing it. And then I realized the hard work, the dedication, the persistence, the staying up, you know, when everybody else is asleep, you still up creating content, creating audios and writing books. While other people watching Basketball Wives, you know, I'm writing another chapter to another book so I can have products to sell. So you
ain't missing
sacrifices,
nothing.
right?
Right.
And I think people don't.
You're right.
A lot of times they see the perception of what entrepreneurship is, but they don't get the real behind the scenes. And so I want entrepreneurs, us as entrepreneurs, to start telling the truth. Look, I'm going to tell you, it is hard. It is the hardest thing you will ever embark upon. There are going to be times where you rolling in the dough, and there are going to be times where you broke, busted, and disgusted. And you have to be able to keep moving through each of those seasons in your journey. And I want more of us entrepreneurs to tell the truth about what it's really like, what the journey is really and hustle and the grind is really like.
But you know, I think they did a pretty good job on some of them shows, like behind the scenes, like with some of those rappers, like, you know, like Lil Wayne, those guys. They show how they up all night. You know, he talk about how Prince and all of them, they in the studio all night grinding, trying to find that right track, that right hook. And I think that's the only side of entrepreneurship that I saw myself with those smaller labels, that you could see the outcome. You know, because of course they, you know, with MTV Cribs and BET would show how those guys are living, but you know they putting it in. They out there in those concerts. They living off of buses. They're not flying in chartered planes. They living off of buses. You know, so I think people do know, because I remember talking to Earl G. Graves about over in Morgan. He was speaking and he was doing a book sign. I remember him saying, you know, it better be your passion, because there's going to be some times where everybody else going to get paid and you're not. So, and you're going to be up all night, like you said. I remember when Mike Tyson had those big fights, and everybody's going over to a friend. I'm home helping my brother lay out our newspaper, because that's how we started out. We started out with an underground newspaper, and we started getting ads. So then we have to come out with the paper when we said. We can't just put it out when we felt like it anymore. We had people paying. So I know what you're talking about, but we loved it though. We loved it.
Yeah.
When we were out there holding that paper and sharing it with somebody, man, we were glowing. You know, just like this podcast. I'm down here. You know, my family sleep, but not all of them sleep, because my daughter's a night owl and my wife is a workaholic. So I do have company when I'm working. So that's the benefit of me working at home. But you know, when I'm working with my son and, we try to come up with campaigns and, we communicate with people, and then you got to ask people for money, you're right. It's another side of it that people don't know that we probably should share. And I think you shared a lot of it already. Good job.
All about telling the truth. It's all about telling
the truth. That's right. Telling the truth.
The more you know, they say knowledge is, is power. So I want you to have the power to succeed in whatever venture you decide to go into. So for me, the clients I work with, the people I work with, the people I mentor, I give them as much knowledge based on my own knowledge that I possibly can.
Amen, amen. All right, Cheryl, we passed the top of the hour. We got started late, but we're gonna start talking about your book now, The Power to Sizzle. Now, this is one of 3 books that so this is a self-help book, true? Is that right?
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah, it's right here on Amazon. It says Inspirational Self-Help Guide to Empower and Challenge Women and Girls to Erase Limitations and Create Possibilities in Their Lives. Okay, so tell us, what's so powerful, what's so transformational about this book? Tell us.
Well, what I love most about it is I am a busy mom. I have a 6-year-old, 7-year-old, and a 10-year-old. And that's just, one part of my life, not to mention traveling internationally for my speaking career, not to mention nurturing my relationship with my husband and giving my extended family time. There's so much going on in my life. So for me, I'm big on words because I know that words have power. And I know that in order to stay in this game and really bring my A game every time, not sometime, but every time, that I've got to keep my mind right. And the only way I keep my mind right is through what I feed my mind. So that's whether I'm picking up a book or listening to a CD or a podcast or an audio, whatever it is, it has to be positive, positive, positive. And so this book was really an extension of who I am as a woman, a wife, a mom, a businesswoman who is trying to make an impact in the world and giving people something positive to grasp onto. It's a quick read. It's literally to give you something to start your day with. So there are 150 power thoughts that are contained in the book, because I don't know about you, but for me, when I first wake up in the morning, I don't turn on the news. You know why? Because I know the first thing that I feed my mind in the first, let's say, 15 minutes of the day is how I'm going to be fueled for the day. That's going to kind of determine what I accomplish in that day. Am I pumped up? Am I fired up? Am I ready? Am I excited? Well, not if I'm watching the news, because most of the news is depressing. And so this book is kind of that, leave it on your shelf, leave it on your nightstand, first thing in the morning, pick it up, read your power thought for the day, and then get to moving. Because we can think about it all day long, what we want to do, but you've got to act on it. And in order to act on it, it has to start in your mind first. So that's what the book is really designed for, to give people those quick, powerful, inspirational thoughts that get them motivated to take action to create the realities that they want in their own lives.
That's right. Now, is this kind of like a form of like reprogramming a person's thought process in the morning? Because you said something very important. First, waking up in the morning, you put your feet on the floor. Some of us pray, we're on our knees. But then the next thing is you turn it on, like your favorite radio station, which the one that we listen to, we love listening to because they make you laugh. And then in some cases you want to know what the weather's doing, so you got to turn the news on. And what happens? Someone was killed last night. Somebody got hit by a bus. Somebody's missing. So you're right. Do you really want to start your day? And then you're going into the office with people who may not even speak to you in the morning. You have to deal with that. And you haven't had your cup of coffee yet. So it's a lot going on. That first 2-3 hours, that's a pretty crucial time of your morning, your day.
Absolutely. I agree. And I try to make it, as the best that I can, because look, almost 5 years ago now, I lost my dad. He was 59 years old. He passed of a massive heart attack in his sleep. 59. I was literally there in his home when they closed him up in a body bag. And I will never forget thinking to myself, wow, I wonder what things he did or didn't accomplish that he really wanted to accomplish. Right? So I don't have time to play games. I don't have time to waste time. My motto for 2014 is playtime is over. That means don't waste another second creating excuses about what you want to do. But no, you got to get off of those butts. and you've got to make sure that every day you're making it as powerful and as impactful as you possibly can, so that you never, ever have apologies or have regrets, and that if you did, for some reason, if you did lay your head on your pillow that night and you didn't wake up the next day, there would be no regrets at all. And that's how I live my life, Jerry, every single day. I say I've got to make today powerful. I've got to make today count, because I don't know for sure that my tomorrow is coming. And I think if more of us really live in the moment and live that way, we would have a different world.
That's true. That is true. Now, Cheryl, on your website, you have, is that a newsletter people can subscribe to? Get free business?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Every 2 weeks, I send out a biweekly newsletter. It is not a sales pitch. It is not me trying to get you. Look, I got clients who pay me good money. Thank you, Lord. I'm blessed. Thank you, Lord. Your hard work is paid off. But that is my contribution, just to support people, just to give you motivational stories of what's happening in my life and how I apply that to the hustle and the grind of being in business and being a mom and being a wife, and how I, create some level, at least some level of balance. That's a word that I still struggle with, but some level of balance. So I share that with people who are signed up for my newsletter, just to give you just some inspiration to keep on your own course and never to give up, never ever bust a U-turn on your dream.
That's right. That's right. Now, what are some of the big clients that you speak for that that they bring you in? Now, let me ask you this first before you answer. Now, when you go out to do some of your speaking engagements for some of these businesses, are they bringing you in? It's like a retreat, or are you there to kind of build up the morale? What's going on with some of the businesses that are hiring you right now?
Yeah, I mean, it varies. Some people bring me in literally just for the motivational piece, which I have no problem with, because that's who I am. I love that. So they may have a sales meeting and they want to get people pumped up. They may have a training, a full-day training, and they bring me in as a keynote speaker to help people realize that they've got to play bigger. So whether it's in corporate America or whether it's for entrepreneurs, the point is, so often, so many of us play small because of fear, because of doubt, because of self-limits, all the mess we're telling ourselves about needing validation from others to believe we can accomplish something. So they often bring me in as kind of that kick in the butt to remind people, hey, don't sleep on your greatness. Get out there, take some risks, step outside of your comfort zone, and guess what? You might surprise yourself at what you actually can accomplish. And so, I feel so blessed that God is just aligning me with the organizations and the people and with the opportunities that I believe I'm supposed to be aligned with. Just recently, I think 2 weeks ago now, I spoke for Verizon. That was huge for me. That was a huge milestone to be hired as a keynote speaker for their women's empowerment session. Not only did they have the room packed out in Silver Spring, but the event was actually broadcast over a virtual platform. So there were women who were tuned in from London and India and all across the world. I mean, that was huge. I've spoken for the Small Business Administration. I've spoken for the USDA. I've spoken for, eWomen Network, Morgan State University, Alabama State University, Keller. I mean, the list goes on, and sometimes I have to pinch myself. Like, is this really my life? Like if 5 years ago, if I didn't take that first step, Jerry, guess what? I would probably still be in the 10 by 10 cubicle answering somebody else's phone, wishing that I could have a different life. That's how powerful it is. Just take the first step.
Out there. That's right. You sold those T-shirts, and look at you today. Now, you mentioned something about playing small. What's the example of playing small?
So playing small would be, I think a lot of times we are, we're comfortable being uncomfortable. That's what I consider playing small. So, again, I'll refer it to myself. So for too long, I was comfortable with the every 2 week direct deposit that I got in my account, knowing that I was uncomfortable building somebody else's dream, knowing I was uncomfortable making 6-7 times less than the senior executives who I supported when I did a lot of the work. So I played small because I wanted to do the thing that was safe, that I considered safe. And for me, I considered safe having an every 2 week paycheck. Entrepreneurship for me was the complete opposite of safe. It was unfamiliar. It was unsafe. It was, it wasn't the thing that most people were doing. It was going way outside of my comfort zone to pursue something that, again, did not guarantee a paycheck, did not guarantee I was going to have customers the next month. That was playing small. As long as I stayed in that cubicle, safe with my little every 2 week paycheck, that was playing small. And so I had to say, I want to play bigger in life. I want to at least explore who I can become. At least give yourself the opportunity to explore it. So often we don't know what's out there, and we keep ourselves, again, hostage to safety instead of going out and exploring what we can really accomplish if we put our minds to it.
That's right. And sure, that's very successful achieving what you have achieved in 5 years, because I know years ago they used to say 5 years was just enough time just to see people break even for all the time and money, resources that they put into their business. They say, okay, if you don't see anything moving forward in 5 years, try something else. Now, in your case, how many things did you try before you were able to get the invitations to speak to these big businesses?
Well, I did the T-shirt business, and then I started speaking. But the thing about speaking was, first of all, I didn't realize everybody and their mama is a speaker. Okay, that's the first thing. So you feel like you're competing. You feel like you're competing with everybody. And so for me, for the entire first year that I spoke, which was 3 years into my journey, that entire whole year of speaking, I worked for free. Oh. Nobody paid me a dime. But you know what? I took it as, this is my year of experience and exposure. I can't get on anybody's big stage if I haven't even spoken on a small stage. I can't get in front of 300 people if I don't even know how to articulate myself in front of 30 people. So for me, I was willing to, I consider that an investment in myself. I was willing to invest in Cheryl, and that meant putting in the time, putting in the blood, sweat equity, right? So that after that year, then I could start saying, this is my speaker's fee. And slowly but surely, I started at like $200. Then I bumped up to $300. Then I finally got to $500. And I thought I was doing something, Jerry. I was like, yes. I thought I was doing something. And slowly but surely, it just kept growing and growing, and bigger organizations and companies started to recognize me and recognize my gifts. And, I just started growing, and it's like, okay, now I can command $3,500 to come and speak for 45 minutes. That's a blessing. That is a blessing. But it didn't come without sacrifice. So for that whole first year, I got nothing. In fact, I was technically paying to go speak, because guess what? I had to get my hair done. I had to buy an outfit. I had to put gas in my car, right? All of that stuff, that's an expense. So I was paying and investing in what I believed was my destiny. That's
right. So, Cheryl, so you had to go buy yourself an outfit. You didn't have anything in the closet from the other job.
I had nothing. Nothing that made me look like I wanted to be thought of. Because see, you got to fill the shoes that you want to fill before you fill them. So if I wanted to be taken seriously, right, I couldn't go in a little sundress on a stage. I had to have a suit. So I bought my one suit. Now, what I didn't tell you is I wore that same suit for that whole year, Jerry. That one suit, and I switched the blouses. I wore that suit so much. My sister, I have a twin sister, she pulled me up one day and said, girl, we got to get you a new dress. But I was committed. I was committed. Look, I didn't care about fancy clothes and fancy shoes. As long as I looked decent, my stuff was clean, and I looked professional, I just wanted to get up on the stage and deliver. That's all I just wanted to deliver, to over-deliver beyond their expectations, because when you over-deliver, that's what keeps you working. That's when you keep getting hired over and over and over again. And, people will run and tell the next one, oh, I know this great speaker. And that was the reputation that I was working to build up.
There you go. All right. Now, on your website, you're mentioning individual coaching. So what type of people are you coaching? What is a coach?
Primarily I coach women entrepreneurs, so either aspiring, emerging, or new entrepreneurs who are in like that first 5-year window, because I know how challenging it is. I know how difficult it is. I know a lot of times we make unwise choices. And so what I do is I help, again, cut the learning curve for women entrepreneurs who say, I want to be in this game, but I don't want to take the long road you took, Cheryl. I want you to show me the shortcuts. I want you to help me get there quicker. And so I work with those women to help them gain clarity, to help them learn how to articulate who they are and who they serve, to help them to realize the value that they bring to the table and be willing to charge for the value that they bring, which took me a really long time to do, and then to be able to really continue to monetize it where they're building, not a hobby, because so many women say they're in business, but really they have a hobby because they ain't making no money. So I want to teach women how to monetize their message so that you're building a successful and sustainable business that is you can either turn over to your kids or you can have an exit plan and sell that business and make millions. But I want you to have a plan, and I want you to be able to monetize it so that there's value there.
That's right. Now, they say a lot of great leaders do have coaches. Do you recommend, the average Joe to have a coach, and who should this be? Should it be a professional coach, or should it be somebody who's, somewhat successful? What would you say?
A coach is imperative. I have a coach. I will always have a coach because every coach should have a coach. Because
got a coach.
There are certain things that you cannot coach yourself, period. You cannot coach yourself. Somebody has to be on the outside looking in to say, this is what I see. This is the direction that I would recommend that you do. Or someone who helps to draw you out by asking you questions that make you think about the direction that you're going. Everybody needs a coach. When I first started speaking, like I said, that whole first year I did it for free. And after that, I realized that I wasn't going to get very far if I didn't have a coach. So I'll never forget, I wanted to work with this coach, and she told me it was going to cost $6,000 for 6 sessions with her. They were only 1-hour sessions, and they were by phone. So it wasn't even in person. I'm not kidding you. I fell out of my chair. I had to pick myself back up out of my chair and wipe the drool off my mouth because I was like, you got to be kidding me. Did she just say $6,000? Wow. And
$1,000 a session
for 6 1-hour sessions, $6,000, and that was about the typical going rate at the time. Some coaches, if you go to like a Lisa Nichols or Les Brown, you're talking $25,000, $30,000 easily. So for me, I knew that I needed that in my journey to really go to that next level. So I didn't have $6,000 just sitting in the bank. So what I did was I started sacrificing. Guess what I did? I stopped going to Starbucks, getting my mocha and my ham and cheese every morning. That was $10 a day. I stopped eating out at lunch because I was still working a full-time job. That was another $10 a day. All the mess that I was wasting money on, I said, no, I'm no longer going to waste money. I'm going to take my funds and wisely invest in myself. Because when you hire a coach and you invest in yourself, that's something that can never be taken away from you. A dress, I can outgrow a dress. I can lose weight, gain weight, whatever. Shoes, I can break the hip. It's so many things that can happen to material things. But when you invest internally, it can never be taken away from you. So every person who is pursuing any type of big goal, big dream, something that seems or feels impossible, you need a coach for that guidance to help you think beyond what you can think, to help you think bigger, to help you analyze the full picture. And when you're missing that piece, I'm telling you, it's going to take you so much longer than it would. And what you need to look for, because you asked that question, you need to look for the person who has done or is doing what you want to do. And it can't just be somebody who says, oh, I'm great. No, show me. If you go to my website, I can show you what I've done, what I've accomplished. If you go to social media, you can see what I've accomplished. So I don't talk it. I don't talk about it. I walk the talk. So you've got to find somebody who's walking the talk and who has accomplished or is accomplishing what you want to accomplish.
All right. My next question is, the lady that was charging you $1,000 an hour, was she the one you hired?
Yes, I hired her.
Oh, you did hire her? Wow.
Yes.
So
I hired her.
So
I absolutely. It was, you know what? Truthfully, after the first session, it was worth it. After one session, it was worth it. Her knowledge was way, way deeper than mine. She had already been in the game for years before me. So she could tell me, this is how you need to articulate yourself when you're on the stage. This is where you need to place your soft pitch when you're offering a sale from the stage. This is the questions that you need to ask. I mean, she was on point because she was doing it already. When somebody's been in the game and been doing it, they can cut that learning curve. And I attest that to why I've been able to have such rapid growth. Partially, a big part of it has been hiring a coach who already had the expertise that I needed to help me go to the next level.
Wow. So she said something in her sales pitch besides that I cost $1,000 per session that made you go out there to get that money. So
oh, yeah.
What did she say? So what did she say, Cheryl?
I mean, there wasn't one thing that she said, but she showed me how to market myself. She showed me how to sell, even if an organization could not offer me a check. So let's say they said, well, we want you to come and speak, but we don't have a budget. She was like, you don't turn that down? Let me show you how you still walk away with $10,000 from the back of the room. She showed me that. She showed me how to craft a sales pitch. How do you create a package that makes people so hungry that they're running to the back of the room to sign up for your package? How should you price them? I mean, we literally had these in-depth conversations, and for me it was tough because I still didn't have the confidence in the fact that I wasn't expert yet. Right. And that was a big piece. Again, that goes back to mindset. So I didn't understand, well, who would pay me $5,000, $6,000 to come speak for? I don't understand. Why would they pay me that? I was still in that mindset. So she helped me with that. She helped me to get over that type of scarcity mindset, that maybe there wasn't enough for me, or that maybe I wasn't the one, or nobody would pay me this amount. She helped to hold me accountable. Every time we had a session, it was like, okay, let's go down to homework assignment. Did you do this, and that? And she held me to the fire for accomplishing what I said I wanted to do. It wasn't just talking about it. I had to actually do the homework. And so I took that model, and now that's what I apply to my clients. So now I have coaching clients who come into my coaching business, and they come with the same issues that I had when I needed a coach. And so it makes me, I feel like it positions me as the perfect coach for someone who is going through what I went through, because I can empathize, because I can help guide them based on me having gone through the same struggle that they're going through currently.
That's right. Most of it, that is fear. So is that that's the biggest obstacle, is fear? You know, they have everything in place. They just have to go out there and ask for the business, but they're afraid of the word no.
Yes.
Like, it's just a word.
It's just a word. I tell my clients, no means next opportunity. That means I'm going to ask the next person, and I'm going to keep on asking until somebody says yes.
I always say they just couldn't afford me at the time. Move on.
That's
next.
right. That's right. That's right.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow. Good for you, Cheryl. Good for you. Wow. Now people should be lining up now, you know, to get the services, right? Now, you mentioned on your website a radio show. Are you producing a radio show?
I do. I host a radio show called Playtime is Over Radio, and it's a free mobile global radio show. So you can actually watch the radio show. If you go to there's a link, listenvisionlive.com, and I'm on every Tuesday from 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern time. But the show airs in over 135 countries. So I just started doing the show in April, and we've already had we have over 5,000 viewers. We've reached Mexico, South Africa, Croatia, Poland. I mean, the list goes on and on and on of countries that we've reached, again, with just an empowering message to get out there and go for it and nurture your possibilities in life. Don't let fear, don't let negative self-belief hold you back from what could be out there waiting for you.
So you say you come on at 3 p.m.?
2 p.m. to 3 p.m., 2 to 3, 2 p.m. every Tuesday.
Okay, on Tuesday. Okay, and that's on, I think that runs on YouTube also, right? Don't they launch a record?
Yeah, every week I download the shows onto my YouTube channel. So if you go to youtube.com /Cheryl Empowers, you will you'll see all the episodes that we download from the station. All
right, I'm so excited. I'm going to be a fan, Cheryl. I can't wait to watch it. I've been looking for another Oprah.
I love it. I love it.
You know, let me tell you something about my thing with Oprah. Sometimes I just wonder when Oprah just going to sit there on the couch and just give us, her nuggets of wisdom. Most of the time she spends a lot of her time interviewing people. We're getting their success story. But when we're going to get her to sit, like, you ever watch Marie Folio, Marie TV? She's pretty good. She's a product of Oprah's empire, and she has a
what's
channel.
Her name? What's the name?
Marie Folio.
Yeah, yes I do.
Yeah.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah, Marie TV. Pretty much, she inspired me to really, really launch this thing the way I was capable of launching it. Listening to her, watching her, and she's saying, I'm just the girl that that was working for Vogue or was a Nike fitness person. When she says those things, you say, wow, look at her now. Not just about the money, but her whole persona. Teaching people how to go after theirs. And now it's you. I was looking for another person to come along, Cheryl, to feed me some nuggets, because sometimes,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
Oh, and I was saying sometimes, when you out there and you have a small team that's looking at you to make all the decisions, sometimes you have to find somebody out there that you can get motivation from, and sometimes you run out of those people. I'm glad you came along, because I see you as that person, and I'm glad I asked you that question. So that means we can get some of the Cheryl and Empower Me tips for free, huh?
Yeah, there you go. You gotta soak up all you can for free.
That's right. Look, you have to.
I want to share this. I gotta share this because I love the comment that you just made. About Marie and her background. What I always share very authentically with people is this: I am a product of the project of Baltimore City. Mm-hmm. I grew up in Lafayette Projects in Baltimore City. I'm talking drug infested. I'm talking crime. Violence. I saw that stuff every day. My mom was a hardworking single mom. My dad was, bless his soul, rest in peace, but he was an alcoholic who, when he was around, made our lives hell. And here's the kicker. I never went to college. I didn't go to college. I went straight out of high school into the workforce so I could help my mama, the single mama, pay bills. So when you want to look at people and you want to look at yourself and say, well, why can't I? No, why can't you? You can. You can look at my example, Marie's example, so many examples of people who have come from practically nothing, but who have developed the willpower and the mindset that my environment does not determine who I become. And once you develop that mindset and you have a conviction, and which to me a conviction is a little bit stronger than commitment. When you have a conviction that I know I'm destined to make a mark on this earth and to create a legacy, that will take you so far, and you will accomplish things that you thought were impossible. And that's the truth of it.
That's right. Wow, that was powerful words. Powerful words. And it's funny because I know that area.
Ooh, that was rough stuff, right?
Yeah, because I was from Ashburton, and, we used to travel there during the daytime. Nighttime, the players were out. That's right. The players were out of there. We were gone. Yeah. We got our little Toyotas, and we were gone. Yeah, I know that area. And you have done very well for yourself. Tell us a little bit about your husband's background. I know he's the one that's motivating you. You're a big fan now. What is he a product of?
You know what? He's down here in the Prince George's County area, but I think he's more from I don't want to say Kentland. I mean, I didn't meet him till I was in my almost 30, so I don't know his whole upbringing. We haven't known each other since we were little, but I know that he came from some rough territory itself. I mean, some of the things that he told me he saw, I'm like, woo, you got me beat, and I was in Lafayette Projects. So we both have come from, if you want to say it, nothing. I mean, we came from, really tough backgrounds where, we didn't have it easy. We didn't always know what dinner we were going to have dinner, but Mama always whipped something up. And we took, what we had and we worked with it. Instead of creating excuses about, what we couldn't do. We took what we had and said, now what can I do with this? How can I use my creativity? How can I be innovative? How can I use my God-given gifts to move forward in my journey and not, again, become a product of my environment?
That's right. That's right. Whoa, beautiful put, Cheryl. Great job. Woo.
Thank you.
I'm your new fan, Cheryl.
I love it. We'll be each other's fans.
That's right. We need more people, like each other, because people do need encouragement. You see people every day on a 9-to-5 job. They just showing up on the job. They're not happy with what they're doing. Some people really don't even know what their natural born talent is right now. It takes time to find it. Now,
I told you I was out there selling them T-shirts in the sweltering sun. Talking about, what the heck am I out here selling T-shirts for? I didn't know. I had no idea. A lot of times I was angry out there selling them T-shirts, but I knew I had to do something different, and I knew if I did it consistently, that's the thing. If you do it consistently and you don't give up midway into the journey, because a lot of times we're like right on the cusp of something great or right on the cusp of a blessing, and we throw in the towel, and something great was about to come right around the corner. So you got to be in it for the long haul. I'm going to do this until when? Until what I want happens.
That's right. And, that's exactly what, that was the advice that I remember Earl Graves saying on 2 occasions when I heard him speak at Morgan State. He said, you pretty much just got to hang in there. Like you said, there are going to be some times that everybody on your staff get paid, but you have to keep the lights on. You got to keep the vendors happy, and it may be $1 left, and you have to put that in the kitty. But you have to keep pushing forward. You believe in what you're doing, and it feels right. That's the thing about it. When it feels right, and you know it. You knew it was something about that T-shirt was just a stepping stone to where you are today. That's all that was.
Yeah. And you know what? And Jerry, another thing is to really go to the places where people celebrate your gifts and celebrate your grind and your hustle. Don't go to the places where people are like, I know you're tired. Go ahead, just, take a break. No. You got to be around those other hungry people who are saying, I know you ain't getting ready to lay down. I know you got a couple chapters of that book you got to write. Right, you got to be around those people who have a similar mindset and a similar drive and passion like you do. Why do lawyers hang with lawyers and doctors hang with doctors? Because they're of the same mindset, because they talk the same talk. So even with entrepreneurship, you've got to be in the room with people who talk the same talk, who are about getting out there and making things happen. Even when it looks like nothing is there to happen, you get out and you find a way to make something happen. You got to be around those people, and people who celebrate who you are, not people who just tolerate being around you, but celebrate you. And sometimes, especially when you're first starting out, you got to be in a space of people who sometimes see more greatness in you than you see in yourself. There were a lot of people who saw a speaking ability in me before I ever acknowledged it. They were like, you have something. You got a gift, and you can't let this thing go. And I thank those people. It's a few. It's only like a hand. I can count them on one hand, but that's okay.
Yes,
those few help fuel me and keep me energized when things weren't going right. When early on in the entrepreneurial journey, I got the Pepco man out front talking about, we about to turn your lights off, and I'm begging, can I get another couple days? And then as soon as he leaves, I get a phone call, and somebody says, hey, we got a speaking gig for you, and it's going to pay you $1,000. But it's the people who helped keep me on that grind when I didn't know what the answers were, when I was looking at really horrible, destitute situations that I didn't know how I was going to get out of. And those people, that community, helped me to stay strong and say, don't give up. You've got to have that. You need that community.
That's right, you do. Now, Cheryl, now you have the same similar background as Les Brown. Have you been compared to be like the female Les Brown of the motivational speaking world?
Well,
you got that smile like his too.
Anybody
I'm
who
looking
wants
at
to
your
call
picture.
Female Les Brown, I will take it.
Because I'm looking at your picture, right, and you hold that mic and got that smile on you, look just like he has. He has his eyes squinch, and he's about to say something brilliant to somebody that blow their mind. That's the way you look with that picture with that. I think you got on an orange leather jacket.
That was was at the Sizzle event. That was at the event I hosted at the Showplace Arena last year. I was so fired up about that event and the opportunity. And the funny part about it, Jerry, Les Brown is the reason I hosted that event. You know why? Because prior to that, every time I would go and speak somewhere, I would always say, you know, you got to have a big dream in life. And my big dream is to share the speaker stage with, you know, the greats like Les Brown. I mean, I said that in every speech I gave. And then finally one day I realized I got to stop saying that, because what that's doing is it's putting me in a holding pattern. And that means if Les Brown never calls me to share the stage with him, I never get to live my big dream. And it hit me like a ton of bricks one day that I was waiting for somebody else to make my dream happen for me instead of getting out and creating my own dream. And it was because of that. That is what prompted me. I was like, I can't wait for Les to call me talking about, Cheryl, can you come share the stage with me? No, I got to create my own stage. And that is what prompted me to rent that stadium and have my own event.
Yeah, because it's cute that you say something like that, though. Because you look at him as the guru of the motivational speaking world, you know. So that's just your way of saying you acknowledge his gift, you know, him being a king, you know. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. But, you know, I think about that sometimes when I'm saying, yeah, one day I'm going to be sitting in that audience beside Oprah when she has those people who have like 1 million subscribers or followers. She invites them to this platform to talk about what, you know, all of them have a story to tell. But I was like, wow, that's what I'm talking about right there.
Yeah.
You know,
global impact, you know, global impact. But I think all of us have the ability to make that global impact. But I think, you know, we've got to be okay starting out as a rookie. And so often people look at somebody else's journey and they want to be on top, but you haven't even gone through your rookie status yet. So, you know, I encourage my clients, I say, look, you know, the process is you make impact in your own household, then in your own zip code, then you go global. So it's your household, your zip code, then you take it global. You know, if I don't have things under control in my own household and my own kids aren't empowered to be their best, how can I take that outside of my home? I can't. So I got to start. I got to start at the ground level, ground zero, and start in the house. And then once I got that straight, then I take it into my community, my own region, my own cities, my own state. Then I take it global. But it's a process, and we've got to be willing to start at rookie status and grow our way to the top.
That's right, being a newbie. But it's good to think big, though, because I know I was talking to a friend of mine. This guy, you know, we talk all the time at work. He's one of those IT guy that built clouds and everything and worked for all these big companies. Real young guy from Africa, and he told me, he said, Jerry, what you going to do for your 100th episode? Who's going to be your guest? I was like, who's going to be my guest? I said, I'm just talking to, you know, people who trying to make things happen, people grinding, you know, like all those girls on Facebook that's grinding every day, you know, telling people about their book. I said, those are the people I like talking to. He said, no, man, you have to set a goal, set something high, a bar. And I was like, you're right, man. Who can I have? It got to be somebody special, you know, somebody that I've admired and always wanted to talk to, and they've been there before, and they have humbled themselves, you know, and they come on the show and share their knowledge, you know, and it happened too. I celebrate my 100th episode with Bunny DeBarge. If you remember, they were at the royalty of R&B in the 80s and the 90s. They shared stages with Michael Jackson and Marvin Gaye and all those, Diana Ross, you know. So, you know, she's an author now and a motivational speaker. So she's in a position there where she want to share, you know, where she's been and, you know, where she's trying to go back to. So that was an incredible experience. I was really happy when she accepted that invitation to be my 100th episode.
Congrats to you. Kudos to you, Jerry, for all the work you're doing and giving people exposure. I mean, I don't take it lightly. You know, any opportunity that I have to share my message and to when people like you invite me into their platform, I mean, that's huge because too many people, you know, have this scarcity mindset. Well, I can't because they might take something from me. No, we've got to help open doors for each other, and that's what you're doing by creating these platforms for people like me and other people, newbies, and, you know, from ground zero up to be able to share their message and to get their story heard. So kudos to you. I'm impressed with everything that I'm hearing, that I've heard about the show. And, you know, you got a fan, too. You have a fan here on this end.
Thank you. It feels good. It's a really good feeling when a young lady asks, say, Jerry, why did you guys choose me? And I say, well, we go out there sometime and we look at your bio, everything looks good, and no negativity on the internet. We'll invite you to come on and share your story. And there was a young lady yesterday was on the show. She actually served in our military, in the Army, and she got injured, I think as a civilian, and she was overcoming a whole, and that wasn't even what her book was about. Her book was a fictional book about romance, and it turned out to be one of the most phenomenal shows I think I've had, and there was people inboxing me like crazy saying, I was listening to that show, that was an incredible show. I was like, it caught me off guard. When she shared the things she shared, and then she inboxed me back saying how grateful she was and she had a great time and she needed that. I was like, a lot of people needed that, not just her.
And that's why everybody has to tell their story and share their gift. And you can't compare it to somebody else's and say, well, she has something more than me or he has something. No, use what you have. That's you'll hear me say that over and over again. Use what you have and walk in your lane, and you will impact someone's life for the greater good. Someone needs to hear your story, your struggle, what you've been through, some of the mess that you've experienced, so that they can move through the mess they're currently experiencing. And so that's so important for all of us to understand that we have a voice. And sometimes we feel like, well, I'm just this little fish in this big ocean. That's okay. Keep on swimming. That's okay. You'll eventually get to the big ocean, but, it's okay. You got to just share. Anybody who will listen, share that story, because you don't know how you can transform their lives.
That's right. And I think that was big of you to share, where you come from. 'Cause a lot of times, a lot of us have these big fancy websites and, they don't go back and say, I come from the hood. My mom was a crackhead. They don't never share none of that stuff. 'Cause people need to know, that they could do the same thing. Everybody's conditions are different. But, it's still a holding. It could put a hold on you if you don't think outside of that box that you're in. And sometimes you need people like you that's encouraging stories that's gripping, and I think somebody will wake up the next day saying, you know what, she was right.
Yeah.
I need to do
I
this.
I can do this.
That's right.
And even with the work that you and I do, like you said it a few times during the show already, you still need to be encouraged and empowered too, and so do I. So I don't rest on my laurels and just wake up every day happy, hunky-dory. I mean, I have problems. I have, issues like the next person. And, right now my mom is going through some things, and she unexpectedly fell ill, and I'm dealing with that. And, we go through stuff. We go through mess, and people don't oftentimes know the behind the scenes that's going on because we're wearing a smile on the outside. But I got to keep myself motivated, too. So guess what? I listen to shows like yours. I have in every DVD player in my house. It's not DVDs. Guess what it is? CDs, Les Brown CDs that I listen to keep me pumped up and motivated, not to ever give up, not to allow any challenge or obstacle or setback to keep me stuck where I am, but to keep moving and keep creating solutions. So I'm just like the next person. You're just like the next person. Life knocks us down, but we get up quicker than anybody else. That's the only difference. We get up quicker than anybody else. We dust off, and we keep it moving.
That's right. I got to keep it moving. Because, Les has, I remember one time you could not find any of his material on YouTube for free. And then suddenly he came back, talking about, he was fighting cancer and everything. And now you can find a whole bunch of his material out there. And he's out there. It looks like he's a lot stronger than he was, during this treatment time. But I think it was a blessing for him to come back out like that and tell us what he was going through, because he didn't have to do that.
Absolutely. And, it shows that he's a smart businessman because, to stay at the top of your industry, and he's 70, I believe he's about to turn 70 years old now. And, I just saw him at the early part of last year, and he was 69. So maybe he's already turned 70, but he's right there. If he's not 70, he's about to turn 70. And he's still as amazing as he ever was. But he understands that to stay at the top of your game in your industry, that you've got to continue to be a trailblazer, and you've got to stay current with the current trends. So he can't do speaking the way he used to do it 25 years ago. He has to do it the way it is now. So that means, guess what? You got to be on social media. You got to have videos. You got to have audios. So you've got to stay current with what's happening. Wherever your customers and your clients are, you've got to be there. You can't be stuck in your way and say, well, this is how I like to do it, so this the way I'm going to do it. Because guess what? You will quickly go out of business. So he's a prime example of,
Tony Robbins, too.
To tell your story. Tony Robbins, Lisa Nichols, who I love, absolutely love. She's amazing. They are showing us how it's done. You've got to stay relevant. You've got to keep reinventing yourself. And most importantly, you've got to be transparent in telling your story so that people connect. They have an emotional connection with you that will, far outweigh, any statistics that you can tell them. People want to know your story, your struggle that you've gone through to get to where you are. That's what it inspires and moves people to action.
Yeah, because people just don't know what it takes for me to get this show going, because I have my daughter is 13 turning 14. You know what it's like dealing with them girls, man.
Yeah, I know. That's all you can say is, woo.
And my son is 11, and my wife, she's a workaholic, so who knows when she's going to leave the office, even though she can work just as long at home. But then she probably saying, do I have to go home and deal with her first before I get my mind set? But she's my little princess, though. So, I was dealt that card, so I got to deal with it. But she can take you there, boy.
Oh, yeah, she is 10. Mine, she's about to be 11. She's a tween, and I'm scared of the teens. I'm scared of teen years. I'm like, Lord, give me the strength. Give me the strength.
Yeah, boy, it happens at, I think it happens when they turn 11, boy. They just go to another level. And then they growing up. Yeah. I mean, she's tall, and, she getting shapely now. She has friends. She wanna leave the house now. It's like, no, you can't leave the house. It's like you can't do that, So, as a dad, you learn. Because I have a 30-year-old son that, that helps me, and then I have an 11-year-old son, and those guys are so calm, their demeanor. I just love them to death.
Right.
So, but they help me out a lot with her, so that's the good thing, because she does listen to those guys. All right, Miss Cheryl, we've been just chitting in the chat. I think we went way past our time, but hey. I may not never get this chance to get this platform again with the Cheryl Wood, the engaging, the innovative one. So I'm so grateful to have had you on the show. Positive Power.
Likewise, it's been a blast. I didn't think we were going to talk this long either, but when things are flowing and you're feeding off of each other and the energy is there and the passion is there, you just got to kind of flow with it sometimes. So again, I thank you so much for having me as a part of your platform to share my message with your audience. Thank you for all that you do. Keep pressing, keep pushing, keep asking until you get all the answers that you want, until you get the results that you want. And I'll be watching from afar. I'll be cheering for you from the sidelines, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be connected.
Thank you. Same here. I'm just so glad I asked you that question about, where can we find you, that radio thing. That is a wonderful thing right there, so people know that they don't just have to rely on this platform to hear your beautiful voice. They can go right there to, and you said that was called Listen. I know that program.
Yep, listenvisionlive.com.
That's right. I know that platform because my good friend B. Swain and Webster's on that platform at 4 o'clock on Wednesday.
I know her. I met them. I spoke at an event about a month ago, and I met the trio. That's
those
so
are my
funny.
girls.
Yeah, it's a small world. It's a small world. And as a matter of fact, Olivia Fox airs on that same show. She's right before my show. So she's 12 to 2, and then I'm 2 to 3 on Tuesday.
Olivia Fox. Now, who's Olivia Fox?
She used to air with, what is his name? Oh, my God, I can't believe I'm blanking.
When the PGC channel or something like that?
Well, it's Radio 1. I want to say it's Radio 1. The tall guy, oh, my God, I can't believe I'm blanking. See, that's how I know it's 11 o'clock, because I'm blanking. And as soon as I hang up, I'll remember who it is. But he's still on the radio.
She sounds familiar.
He's still on the airwaves. I can't think of it. It's escaping me. I can see his face, but
so is he on XM? Is he on XM dial?
No, he's. I just can't. It's escaping me. I promise as soon as I hang up, I'll know who it is.
Yeah, you
I know his name. But she used to air. She used to be on with and see, because I'm so busy writing books and out motivating people. I don't have time to listen to the radio, so I don't know any of the stations anymore. But she used to be on with him, and then they kind of, you know how radio stations do.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
I cannot believe I can't think of his name. That's gonna burn me up. And as soon as I hang up the phone, I'll remember his name.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
All right. Well, she's before you, and then so that's on Tuesdays for Olivia Fox.
Right. Every Tuesday. Yeah. Her show is a different kind of show, but you know, to each his own.
Yeah.
She's on from 12 to 2, then I come on from 2 to 3 with the kind of empower hour. Always something positive. We're always interviewing people who are living by the motto, playtime is over. And just all things positive. That's it. No negativity, no drama, just positive.
Well, we definitely encouraging our people to check out this show. So we definitely, so I'll have your book out there promoting your book. And, hey, let's get paid.
I love it. Let's make
right.
that money. This is a business, not a hobby, right?
That's right. Let's work. I tell people all the time that podcast is not a job, it's a religion. Because we rely on the internet gods to keep this thing going. But look, Cheryl, I know you're ready to turn in because you got stuff you got to do. I'm ready to launch this replay so the world can hear you. And again, we appreciate you being on Jerry Royce Live at positivepower21.org.
I love it. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
You're welcome. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in to the Positive Power 21 Network. Team 21 would like to thank you all for tuning in, and please spread the word and tell a friend. This is Jerry Royce at Positive Power 21, where we get our positive on.
PositivePower21.org, Internet Radio.
All right, that's a wrap.